You must be wondering why we are reviewing KAHAANI 2.
It's been bloody ages!
Yeah. We watched this when it first came out. We had the intention of writing a split personality review to complement my split personality review for KAHAANI 1.
KAHAANI is a story about a pregnant woman from London attempting to find her missing husband in Kolkata.
And we just never got around to it because we had to leave town. So KAHAANI 2 is a review I've wanted to do anyway, just to share my thoughts for those of you who watched the movie and wanted to know JABY, KOAY's thoughts. And ACHARA's.
If you care.
If you care. And so we know that, not that many views will hit this particular video, but we wanted to just do a discussion anyway. Now, I know you didn't watch KAHAANI 1.
I didn't feel like I needed to watch KAHAANI 2, to be honest. It was very much its own movie. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right.
I didn't feel like there was any history or anything that I didn't understand from watching this complete movie.
No, you're absolutely right. So I wanted you to not watch KAHAANI 1 to give a fresh perspective on KAHAANI 2, so like you didn't have any of my preconceived notions, that I went in with.
Right.
KAHAANI 1 is kind of like this independent film that made a lot of money. It's difficult to talk about because some people are sensitive about when you criticize KAHAANI. If you criticized, for instance, Three Idiots, or like we ran into with Sarkar, I guess, the other day, like some people getting mad at me for criticizing Sarkar. People are gonna get upset when you criticize anything that they like. So this is from IMDb. A woman with a mysterious past is charged with kidnapping and murder. So we're following a cop, Sub-Inspector Inderjeet Singh. He finds this case of Vidya Singh or Rani Singh.
Yeah, she's involved in a hit and run. No one knows who she is at first, and so she's a Jane Doe, and then they figure out who she is. And then he goes to her house and discovers this book. I really like that setup. While he's discovering her past, as the audience, we're also discovering her past, and it's very detailed and interesting, and I really, really liked her character. Like I was really invested in her. For
those of you who don't want any spoilers, this is hard to talk about without getting into spoilers. What I can say is that the story, if you liked KAHAANI 1, I would think you'd like KAHAANI 2 also, although we talked to a friend of ours. Well, he lives here right now, but he's moving back to India on Monday. He told me he didn't like KAHAANI 2, he found it too predictable. But I liked KAHAANI 2. I thought it was an enjoyable film. I actually appreciated it. I know this is like blasphemous, but I appreciated it more than the first movie. Because it addressed some of the things that I didn't like about the first movie. For instance, the crazy camera shaking. This is more of a technical thing, but the crazy camera shaking in the first one, the super choppy editing of the first one is absent in the second movie. At least it's less. It's more focused, and it's trying its best to tell an interesting story about essentially about a woman who is trying to save this little girl.
Yeah. That's
what it comes down to.
Yeah, she sees herself in this little girl, and she's trying to save her and get her out of a bad situation, even if that means doing things that are questionable.
Yeah, morally questionable. That's as much as we can say without ruining the movie, I think, because everything else is like you're gonna understand the whole plot if we talk about anything else. I think.
But now, can we get into the spoilers?
Yes. Here we go.
Oh, like I said, I really liked the discovery of the notebook, and it kind of works as this diary, and we learn a lot about Durga Rani Singh, or Vidya Sinha. She's like two personalities, but I just loved her character because she was so vulnerable as a leading lady in this. She was not your typical like super gorgeous.
I think Vidya Balan's beautiful.
She is beautiful, but in this film, they made her look kind of like ordinary and dumpy.
Sure.
And she played this character who had very little confidence in herself and very much kept to herself.
She couldn't even make love without it being painful.
But that was also because she has a history of abuse, of sexual abuse, which I thought was it's a very hard topic to talk about, but I thought that it was approached really well.
Yeah, they tried to tackle it in this film, and I think that anytime you try to tackle something difficult like that, it's bold. I like that. I like that they were trying to broach that conversation, because essentially that fuels the plot of the movie.
Yeah, exactly, because she's such a broken person because of this experience, and she can recognize it in the little girl, Minnie. She sees a possibility for retribution for herself and to save the girl.
Right.
So it becomes her all-encompassing goal to the detriment of her own personal relationships. Like, she had the opportunity to run away with the dude who loved her. It was a hard choice for her, but she decided to save the girl, and then that bleeds into her second identity, where her all-consuming goal is to take care of Minnie. She needed to be taken out of that situation where she was being abused by her uncle. I really liked that backstory.
Right. I think that if the movie was just more focused on the backstory, I would have appreciated it more. It was trying to do this extra layer of complexity and mystery, in which, like, she had the history with the cop.
Yeah,
and
they were married.
Yeah, they were married, and eventually that, you know, he's got to help her out with getting away from the authorities. The first film dealt with incompetent police officers, and this film again was dealing with incompetent police officers. I'm like, okay, well, we kind of explored that already, but okay, let's see how you play with it this time. The thing is, I didn't necessarily need all that extra stuff. I think that there was ample enough meat with which to cut a really cool story with just Vidya Balan. I didn't need the cop aspect to it personally. I knew that whatever you thought was going to happen, the last 15 minutes of the movie was going to be like, psych, here are all the things you didn't see because we didn't clue you in whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because that's what the first movie did. And I knew that was going to come, where it's this huge plot twist that is impossible to predict. Now, me personally, if you're going to have a set of crazy plot twists, I need you to set it up where I could have maybe figured it out.
Yes.
Because you dropped clues.
Yeah.
Like, I had the same feeling when I watched Sherlock Holmes, the one with Robert Downey Jr. At the end, I think he's opposite of Mark Strong, or I forget who the bad guy was in that movie, but he's going over all these things he deduced, and I'm like, damn, bitch, like, when did you do that? Because I was there with you in the movie. I didn't see you picking up on this shit.
I like it when they do that in movies, but you see the little clues which maybe you didn't pick up on, but then as they talk about it, they kind of do a little cut to that thing, and you're like, oh yeah! And then you have that oh yeah moment, which, you know, makes you kind of feel more involved as an audience member.
The best example I can think of off the top of my head is a movie everyone loved, but I was okay on, which is The Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah.
Because once you find out he's a ghost, they go back and show you all these moments where it's like, oh, they clued you in on that, and you just didn't pick up on it.
Didn't pick up on it.
And so here, there was this montage of stuff. It's like, yeah, but you didn't clue us on any of that shit. Like, that just happened. Now, that's the negative thing for me. I still liked the movie a lot. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I especially enjoyed Vidya Balan's performance.
Yes.
I thought that she is great. Like, I would watch anything with her. She's a very, very good actress. I like that it was trying to broach this topic of sexual abuse and how that just stays with you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, so a lot of movies, there are a lot of movies that have talked about that, but they don't talk about how it stays with you.
Like
So,
the lasting effects.
yeah, exactly. And Vidya Balan's character exemplifies it staying with you and just the response. You know, I mean, it's conceivable that someone would respond the way she did in seeing this little girl in peril because of what happened to her. I believe that. This kind of situation where the grandmother is fostering this unhealthy environment, I can see that being real. I've heard of that being real. It's just
Especially
really sick.
when it's like in a very well-to-do family.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, when bad things are happening or something that can ruin a family's reputation, they just try and like sweep it under the rug and pretend it doesn't happen, or just ignore it, hoping that it'll go away. Or, you know, if you give her enough toys, maybe she'll be just fine. That's wrong. Yeah, and I also really liked how it showed that you can have a mother's love without actually being the mother.
Yeah.
Which was very, very strongly presented in this movie, because she loved that girl more than her own life.
Sujoy Ghosh, the director and one of the writers, I think that he's a very talented dude, and I want to see more from him. I want to see other things he does or has done. I hope that he, in future, you know, KAHAANI films or other films, he doesn't feel the need to lean on that same formula of, you've got this interesting story here, but you feel the need to heighten it even more with more like mysteries and questions. It's like, no, just tell that story, because I think KAHAANI 2 was like, it was a good movie for me, but it could have been a great movie if it just focused on telling that story as well as possible.
Yeah.
You know, but that's me.
Yeah, I
It's different.
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. You enjoyed the little plot twist that it wasn't like
I mean,
hinted at?
I would have enjoyed it more if it had that moment where I could have gone, oh, okay, that all makes sense. If they could have worked more into it where there were little crumbs along the way.
Yeah.
So you could be like, oh, I feel so smug, I noticed something. Or like, wow, I didn't notice anything, I'm dumb.
Even if it's for the purpose of misdirection, it would have been
Yeah,
cool, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
I thought it was a good movie, and I recommend watching it if you haven't already. I don't know why you'd still be watching this video this much, given that we talked about all the spoilers. If you haven't watched it, check it out. If you have watched it, let us know in the comments what you thought of the film, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, and why. A few quick shoutouts to Daniel Prakash, Riju, Mahna, and Manish. Thank you guys, the three of you so much. You've been contributing for a while now. I just want to express my gratitude to you guys for doing so. Really means a lot to me that you guys are helping out with the channel and helping us continue to do what we do here at the JABY KOAY channel, you know, the KOAY family. Thank you so much. And anyone else who's interested in contributing on Patreon, please go to patreon.com/JABYKOAY. If you can, cool. If you can't, just keep hanging out with us. Thank you guys, all of you. I love you guys. I'm JABY KOAY. Peace out.